His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie was an ambitious leader. He made so many milestones in Ethiopia. For example, the one is related to natural resource-based development, like agriculture and irrigation, mining, and hydroelectric power. For example, he made a Koka Dam and planned for Nile Dam too. The second is education based. He opened the first public school in Ethiopia. He left his palace for university, now what we call Haile Selassie or Addis Ababa University. He made the first national Ethiopian National Library and museum, what you call now Womezakkar. Even he read books in different language, French, English, and if he like it, he will order the author to translate to Amharic language. The third is military. Of course, that time was a wartime, colonization and conquering time. He already knew that the value of the military power, and he established the first Ethiopian Naval College, Air Force College, Police Military College, and so on. When we come to natural resource based development, he made so many speeches in Amharic and translated to in English. So I will present you a serial Haile Selassie speech related to natural resource irrigation and hydroelectric power. I will start by this. On Thursday, July 25, 1957, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I opened the new technological building and laid the cornerstone for the construction of new building house for practical mechanical artists in the compound of the Imperial Engineering College. At the ceremony, His Imperial Majesty made the following speech. I will read only those related to hydroelectric power, irrigation, agriculture, and natural resource. Ethiopia, with her vast fertile lands, can compete with those nations which have attained a higher degree of prosperity through the development of their agriculture. Although detailed studies and surveys have not been fully made, there can be no doubt that Ethiopia possesses the necessary mineral wealth for our needs. Moreover, Ethiopia is endowed with considerable water resources, fully suitable for hydroelectric power station, which could contribute to the realization of a great development projects. Since Ethiopia has been blessed with the heavenly grace of being fully independent nation, and only the lack of adequate education has hindered her from profiting from the circumstance and advantage of this blessing, we have personally devoted most of our efforts toward the development and expansion of education in our country, giving it priority over all our other duties. We have therefore established this technical college from which the present as well a future generation may profit. Since it is also our determined aim to see agricultural education thrive, it is appropriate to make mention here of the agricultural college we have established at Alamaya in Harar. Knowledge which cannot be used for practical purposes is like a flower which bears no fruit. We realize, therefore, that it would be of still greater advantages if, at this stage, our educational planning could be more directed toward technical training. And on Saturday, November 2, 1957, on the 27th anniversary of the coronation, His Imperial Majesty opened the new session of Parliament with the following address. Again, I will only read those related with natural resource-based development. After a prolonged negotiation as to the amount to be paid by the Italian government, by way of war preparation as decided upon the Paris Peace Treaty in 1947, the Italian government agreed to pay and he deposited in Banca d'Italia in the name of Imperial Ethiopian government the sum of Ethiopian dollar 40 million though this amount is not in any sense adequate compensation for the tremendous suffering of our people. We have accepted it and have earmarked the funds for the construction of the Koka Dam and the purchase of ships. This project, which will be carried out under the supervision of a ministerial board, will fulfill our primary wish that this sum be devoted to work of lasting benefit to the general public. We need not enumerate the multiple benefits to be derived from electric power in the development of industries and the betterment of the way of life of a people. Time will reveal them. Motivated by our constant wish that, subject only to the limitation imposed by the natural resource of our empire, the blessing of highlighted standards of living by extended to all our subjects, we have visited our people of the Ogaden to the end of fulfilling this our desire for them. We have subsequently released substantial funds from our treasury for community development projects in the area of Ogaden, some of which have already been completed and will soon come into operation. Our effort to develop and utilize the natural resources of our country, which constitutes the basis of the welfare not only of this generation, but of generations yet to come, cannot be limited to what has already been narrated. As we have explained in the past, plans are under study to utilize our rivers as essential step in the development of our agricultural industry. It's of paramount importance to Ethiopia and a problem of the first order that the water of the Nile be made to serve the life and need both of our beloved people now living and of those who will follow us in centuries to come. However, generously, Ethiopia may be prepared to share this tremendous good-given wealth of hers with friendly nations neighboring upon her for the life and welfare of their people. It is Ethiopia's primary and scared duty to develop the great watershed which she possesses in the interest of her own rapidly expanding population and economy. To fulfill this task, we have arranged for the problem to be studied in all its aspects by experts in the field. Ethiopia has time and again made known to those concerned her position regarding the utilization of Nile waters, nor are our views concerning the waters of the southern region any different. Ethiopia is happy to be able to provide our Somali brothers who inhabit this region with the share of water that is necessary for the sustenance of their life. And on Tuesday, November 5, 1957, His Imperial Majesty inaugurated as the Maichao Square Power Station in Addis Ababa, an steam generation plant. Speaking on the occasion, he said, "Electricity is one of the indispensable factors for industrial development, in the betterment of standard of living of the people and generally for the economic progress of any nation. Waterfalls are among the natural resources of Ethiopia, plans being now studied for several projects in the development of hydroelectric power. It gives us pleasure to see the new steam turbine with well-prepared electricity that would boost the city electric supply until the proposed hydroelectric power installation is completed, and which would be used as a reserve in case of any power shortage even then." And also, on Thursday, January 16, 1958, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I inaugurated the Imperial Ethiopian College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts at Alamaya, Harar. On this occasion, His Majesty the Imperial made the following speech. "It gives us a great pleasure to be present here to inaugurate the College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts, an occasion which marks a great and far-reaching advance in our program for the promotion of agricultural education. This institution will serve as a source of inspiration in carrying out agricultural program which we have laid down for the future. In establishing this college for the development of the natural wealth of our country, agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines, our main purpose has not been merely to develop and utilize these basic resources to supply the daily needs of our people, but in addition to produce a surplus to be shared with other countries of the world. Ethiopia to some degree has done this in the past. For example, when the world was sorely distressed by lack of food immediately after the Second World War, our country, although she herself had for 5 long years been struggled to recover from the terrible damage inflicted upon her during the war, was it able to perform a significant service in the supplying foodstuff to the countries of the Middle East. And we have been pleased to observe how, since then, our people have increasingly devoted themselves to improving the agriculture of our country. Agriculture is not only the chief among those fundamental and ancient tasks which have been essential to the survival of mankind, but also ranks first among the prerequisites to industrial and other developments. Only when a solid agricultural base has been laid for our country, commercial and industrial growth can we ensure to the attainment of the ultimate goal of our development program, namely a high standard of living for our people. Commerce and industry being concerned in the main with development and distribution can only develop and profit from existing resources, but cannot actually create things which did not exist before. Most of the districts of our Harar province are populated mainly by nomadic people. Now that we are in a position to anticipate and adequate water supply from the rivers and wells in the region, the area will flourish and land will no longer lie fallow in the province. If only the people of Ogaden, Isa and Adal could be educated in agricultural techniques, all this can be attained only by means of the wisdom which flows from the fountain of education. And while this college will serve the whole of our country, is being established in the province of Harar is the result of careful planning and consideration on our part. Even in this nuclear age, in spite of the revolutionary changes in man's way of life which science has brought about, the problem of further improving and perfecting agricultural methods continues to hold a position of high priority for the human race. It is hard to believe that substitute can ever be found for the occupation of agriculture, a sacred task graciously conferred upon many by God to serve as the source of his well-being and base of his wealth. Our country, Ethiopia, being blessed with an abundance of natural resources, need not to anxious about her own needs. However, it is our constant endeavor and our firm desire that our people will produce not only enough to meet their own requirements, but that their production will enable them to share and exchange the fruits of their labor with other countries. If only Ethiopia, with an assured way